Football brings a kind of energy that goes beyond the pitch. It's the drama, the emotion, the uncertainty, and the pure thrill of watching a match unfold. And what makes it even more powerful is the shared experience, the way fans come together, the conversations that build around each fixture, the quiet predictions we make before kickoff, and the satisfaction when those expectations come to life. That's the atmosphere we tap into every time we break down a set of matches. It's the reason this community keeps growing, and it's what gives every discussion its heartbeat. Today's matches line up with a blend of intensity, tactical contrast, and the sort of unpredictability that keeps football alive. Each fixture carries its own identity. Some rely on raw tempo, some on resilience, some on structure, and others on measured control. But all of them offer insight into how different styles collide. As we walk through these games, the focus stays on how the teams approach the game, how their systems hold up under pressure, and how the balance of the match dictates the final score. Nothing forced, nothing exaggerated, just the natural, honest rhythm of football analysis shaped to the way the game usually plays out. Olympiacos vs Real Madrid. Correct score 0-2. Prediction: Real Madrid win. This meeting brings together two very different football worlds, and that contrast is what gives the fixture its tension. Olympiacos are traditionally strong at home. Their crowd creates a tight atmosphere, and that energy often pushes the team to play with more intensity, closing spaces quickly and making life difficult for visiting sides. They tend to rely on a compact shape, especially in matches where they know they are facing a team with superior technical ability. Their defensive block is usually organized, and even when they concede space, they rarely allow opponents to progress easily through the middle. Real Madrid, however, carry a style that tends to break down these kinds of setups. Their patience is often what determines the flow of matches like this. Instead of forcing the game early, they usually circulate the ball, waiting for gaps to appear. The pressure they apply comes gradually, and once they establish control, they rarely lose it. Olympiacos can resist for spells, but the phases of sustained possession eventually pull them out of their structure. With that dynamic, a 0-2 outcome feels natural. The visiting side often dominates the tempo, moving the ball with a calmness that prevents unnecessary chaos. Olympiacos may hold firm early on, but as the match stretches, the control shifts further away from them. Real Madrid's ability to keep the game settled allows them to take their chances when the moments arrive. It's not a runaway scoreline, not an explosive performance, just a professional win shaped by steady pressure and clear superiority. Liverpool vs PSV. Correct score 2-1. Prediction: over 2.5 goals. This fixture has all the ingredients of a high-tempo match. When these two meet, the game rarely settles into long periods of calm. Liverpool carry a naturally aggressive approach, pushing their lines high and forcing the match into moments of chaos. Their transitions are rapid, and their movement in the final third often creates gaps that opponents struggle to close. When they are playing at full intensity, they dictate not only the pace but also the emotional feel of the match. PSV, on the other hand, perform best when they are allowed to counter into open spaces. Their rhythm is direct, and they thrive in matches where both teams take risks. That's exactly the kind of environment a fixture like this produces. Instead of slowing the game down to stay safe, they often respond by pushing forward themselves. This leads to stretches of end-to-end sequences, with both sides finding openings and forcing defensive adjustments. With both teams leaning toward an attacking approach, goals feel inevitable. That's why over 2.5 goals fits perfectly into the natural flow of the match. A 2-1 scoreline reflects a game where Liverpool's pressure shapes the bigger picture, but PSV still manage to create chances through the spaces left behind. The match doesn't lean one-sided, nor does it drift into a tactical stalemate. Instead, it settles into that exciting middle ground where both teams push, both teams respond, and the scoreboard keeps moving. Liverpool edge it, but PSV play a visible role in the outcome, contributing to a match with plenty of intensity. Arsenal vs Bayern Munich. Correct score 2-2. Prediction: both teams to score. Yes, when Arsenal and Bayern Munich meet, the game practically promises movement in both directions. These are two sides that avoid passive football. Arsenal tend to build through structured possession, working their way up with combinations and creating overloads in zones where they can force defensive errors. Their rhythm builds gradually, but once they establish control, they create chances in sequences rather than isolated moments. Bayern Munich take a different route, but one that's just as dangerous. Their strength lies in their verticality. They move the ball forward with minimal hesitation, attacking space quickly and demanding constant defensive focus from opponents. Their approach often pulls matches into a faster tempo, especially when they sense openings between the lines. Because both sides commit to their styles rather than adjusting heavily for each other, the match becomes a clash of attacking philosophies. That's why goals from both ends feel almost unavoidable. This fixture rarely becomes a defensive exhibition. Instead, it turns into a battle of who can sustain pressure longer and who can take advantage of the small pockets of space that appear throughout the match. A 2-2 result captures the spirit of this meeting. Neither team typically dominates to the point of controlling every moment, and neither team sits deep. The pace of the game creates chances for both sides, and as the match develops, it becomes a contest of mental resilience as much as tactical strength. Both team scoring fits perfectly within the identity of this fixture, and the draw reflects how tightly matched their approaches are. Parfos vs Monaco. Correct score 1-2. Prediction over 1.5 goals. This match brings together two teams operating on different levels of experience and pace. Parfos are often organized and disciplined, especially at home, where they usually approach matches with patience. They tend to keep their defensive structure tight, relying on moments where they can break forward with purpose rather than trying to force the game from the start. Their discipline makes them difficult to break down early. Monaco, on the other hand, enter with a more fluid and dynamic style. Their transitions are where they shine, turning defensive moments into attacking opportunities with speed. They thrive in matches where they can manipulate space, especially when opponents stay compact. What gives them an edge here is their ability to repeatedly test defenses through wave-like phases of possession and movement. The match naturally leans toward Monaco's control, but Parfos are not an easy side to dismiss. They usually find at least one moment in matches where they pierce through, especially when opponents push too high. That's why the scoreline of 1-2 fits the natural rhythm. Parfos get something from the match, not dominance, not control, but a moment where their patience pays off. Over 1.5 goals is almost guaranteed by the structure of the game. Monaco's style creates chances, and even if Parfos don't attack frequently, the opportunities arrive once the match opens up. The result reflects a competitive match, but one where the superior side finds the winning edge through sustained pressure and a higher level of execution. PSG vs Tottenham. Correct score 3-1. Prediction over 2.5 goals. This fixture brings together two teams with attacking identities, though in very different ways. PSG tend to command matches through possession and territorial dominance. They push their full structure forward, compressing the game into the opponent's half and forcing defensive lines to stay under constant stress. Their rhythm builds through repeated phases of possession that gradually break down resistance. Tottenham approach games with a balance between possession and counter-attacking bursts. They do their best work when they absorb pressure and transition quickly. Their strength lies in using the spaces opponents leave behind, especially when the match becomes stretched. When a team like PSG faces a side like Tottenham, the outcome is usually a match with a lot of movement and several goal-scoring opportunities. PSG's pressure naturally generates openings, but Tottenham's counters also create moments where they can strike if the match becomes too open. That's why over 2.5 goals feels right. A match shaped by both attacking initiative and reactive intensity tends to find itself in a scoreline with multiple goals. A 3-1 result reflects PSG's dominance but acknowledges Tottenham's ability to register on the scoreboard. The match leans toward the home side's control, but it still includes enough openness for goals at both ends. In the end, PSG's sustained pressure and the volume of chances they produce typically decide the match. Looking back across all the fixtures, there's a clear pattern. Each match brings its own unique style and rhythm, yet all of them share one thing: an expectation of intensity. From Olympiacos facing the disciplined strength of Real Madrid, to Liverpool and PSV pushing the tempo, to Arsenal and Bayern Munich creating a tactical battle full of movement, every fixture offers a different shade of the game we all love. Parfos vs Monaco presents a contrast in experience and structure, while PSG vs Tottenham adds the excitement of two attack-minded sides meeting on a big stage. The predictions line up naturally with how these teams usually approach their matches. There's balance, logic, and a sense of flow behind each outcome. Before we close, there's something important to say. This entire journey grows because of the people who show up consistently, watching, supporting, sharing, engaging, and bringing life to the community. The loyalty, the interaction, the passion, the love for the game, these are the things that keep everything moving forward. This family keeps growing because every single person here plays a part in it. Your support is the foundation of this space. The way you show up, the way you keep the energy alive, and the way you make this more than just predictions, it all means more than words can express. Here's to more wins, more excitement, more growth, and more moments shared together. The journey continues, and you're the reason it matters.